Hey, Danny K coming to you from Danny K Gym Wellness. Today's tip comes to you from a couple of people last night. We were discussing crunches versus sit-ups. What's the better? Why do you do this versus that kind of thing. Crunches is the best for your abs. So and the reason is once you get to a certain point, crunching, basically, just taking like the shoulder blade up off of the mat or the bench or the ball or whatever it might be. That's working the upper part. Technically, when you're doing that, all your ab muscles are engaging, but you're kind of concentrating, focusing on the top when you're doing just a basic crunch. So from a crunch to a sit-up, when you're doing an actual sit-up from that crunch position, after you get that, like the shoulder blades off the pad or the mat, the bench, whatever, from that point on, it's your lower back, legs, hip flexors, everything else engaging. Not saying that your abs are not still engaging, they are, but you're getting more assistance from other areas to help you get that, get that up there. Now, that said, sometimes when you do PT tests in the military or police academy or, whatever, like, the PT tests in schools and stuff like that, they have, the sit-ups. How many sit-ups can you do in a minute? And they actually make you do a full, complete sit-up. That it does engage other areas. Like I said, the legs, the hip flexors, your back, your lower back, and sometimes that can cause issues with your lower back. The only time that I would say, and I would kind of like allow, so to speak, allow someone to do an actual sit-up or train to actually do a sit-up is if you have that kind of PT test that you have to do a sit-up, okay? Other than that, if it's just a matter of crunches versus sit-ups and I just want, to get my core strong, what should I do? Definitely crunches is the way to go. So basically, a crunch, if I'm, pretending like I'm laying flat, you have, your hands, your fingertips on the back of your head. You're not interlocking. You're not yanking your head or anything. It's just lightly touching your head. Your chin is, like you can do, like they say, like an L or pretend like you have an apple or a ball between your chin and your chest, and you're crunching, kind of taking your chin up to the ceiling kind of thing. Not like this, and not bebopping your neck, and not, yanking or anything like that. And it's just basically simply your, from like your shoulder blades, from, like your shoulder blade area up, coming off of the pad. Again, like I said, focusing on the ceiling, taking the chin up to the ceiling, and not yanking on your head. Another thing, a lot of times people say, well, my neck hurts when I'm doing, or neck straining or whatever, when I'm doing crunches. So basically what I always tell people is you have your fingertips lightly on the back of your head, but if you press your fingertips on the back of your head, not interlock them, and not cradle your head, but press your fingertips on the back of your head, that actually gives your neck a little bit of, like feeling like it's being held. So if you press the fingertips on the back of your head, then that takes the strain and the muscle use off of, some of the muscle use off of the neck, so that you're not like straining your neck or feeling it in your neck, so that you can get more out of your abs. And then so some people say, okay, well, if crunches, and that's all I'm supposed to do, gets the upper part, what else can I do for the obliques and the lower abs? So there's so many different things. You can do leg lifts, laying flat on the floor and, working the leg lifts as long as the lower back stays on the floor, or the mat, the pad, whatever. There's a knee raise chair in most gyms where you're standing up kind of like this and you're raising your legs or bringing your knees up to your chest or, to your belly. There is, and some people do like this oblique kind of thing, which I don't like. That kind of builds your obliques. And some women do not want those kind of big, huge oblique sides. So I would definitely, especially if you're a female, men, if you want those big, oblique things coming down there. Men, go ahead and do your side bends. Women, I would personally stay away from doing side bends. I know I see a lot of guy trainers training women doing that. You know, where you're taking the weight and you're bending. It's building up those obliques. So, you know, there's different things that I do personally. Like, I do what I call straddle oblique, where I'm laying flat out and I have my legs in a straddle, and then I, you know, kind of crunch my shoulder as I'm lifting my leg, you know, and just keeping everything open and flat. So there's so many different ways that you can work your lower abs, your obliques, and, you know, but the main thing, my main focus was today telling you crunches versus sit-ups. I just, if it's not the case of needing to do, you know, like a PT test and how many sit-ups can you do in a minute, I would definitely stay with just doing the crunches and focusing on those obliques and just, I mean, focusing on the upper abs, and just working the ab portion and not, you know, engaging the legs and the hip flexors and the lower back and all this other stuff, you know. So I hope that helps when it comes to crunches versus sit-ups. I know if these guys in here yesterday evening were talking about it, I know they're not the only ones thinking what's better, crunches or sit-ups, and why do we only do crunches, and why don't you ever have me doing sit-ups, so that kind of thing. So it just kind of got us into a discussion, and I thought, you know what, that's if they're thinking it and asking it, it might be a good kind of thing to kind of put out to y'all. So crunches versus sit-ups, I would say definitely crunches, and heed my warning with, you know, the fingertips and not yanking, and keep the chin above keep your, you know, the chin off of your chest, that kind of thing, chin up to the ceiling. So I hope that helps. If you have any comments, questions, concerns about your fitness journey or nutrition, leave me some comments, private message me, DaniKJimOWellness.com or DaniKJimOWellness on Facebook, and I'll do my best to get back to you and do a video and help you out on your fitness journey. That's what it's about, right? So stay in tune, stay informed, stay motivated. Bye.